John. It's interesting when we look at these words of the master. Again, the words of the master. We talk about all of the times that Yeshua actually spoke in the scriptures. If you have a King James Bible, these are the red letters. We look at the words that he spoke, and not only the words that he spoke, but the situations that caused him to speak. And we talk about these things. So when we look at the Gospels, where there's things that we see in the book of John and Yochanan and the book of John that are kind of isolated things that we don't see over in the other accounts. So it's interesting when we look at the four of them. A lot of times when we're looking through these words of the master, there's we get to certain sections and there's different versions of the same thing in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and no John. But now we're kind of like on this little run of seeing just only John and not the Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And so it's interesting because John, it seems, when you look at the whole of his letter, his gospel, it kind of deals with things and it brings emphasis to kind of the spiritual aspects of things. And so he's pointing out things, not only just the fact that Yeshua said this or that, but he's just drawing more attention to these things and causing us to think about things kind of from a different perspective, other than just like the other gospels where it's kind of like, news reporters saying this happened, this happened, this happened. All right? Okay, so
adds a little bit more emphasis.
Yes, because when you think about it, the Matthew was there, but maybe he wasn't looking at it like that, right? Maybe he found the things that he thought were important that were different. There's no maybe. That's what happened, because the things that he writes about, are not all the things that we see John writing about. So.
Something we know someone who's a police officer, and whenever he explains something that happened, it could be like the most. He takes the emotion kind of out of it. You know what I mean? And it just seems like John puts a lot more, I don't want to say emotion, but I don't really know what other word to use into his writing.
Yeah.
People always say to start with the book of John.
I just was listening to somebody, I don't remember who it was. Oh, I know who it was. It was Moses, I think. The chairman. The chairman. And so, I guess he was talking, he has a lawyer friend who he was saying, if you hear a story from multiple people and each one is the same, they lying. Because nobody's looking at something from the same perspective. Even if we're talking about, I'm sitting here, you're sitting over there, they're sitting over there, you're looking at it from different views. So there's some, I can't see because at this point they was blocked by these people right here. Mm-hmm. If people got the exact same story, they probably got together and was like, let's say this, let's say that. Mm-hmm. There's going to be slight variations in the different people's story who witnessed the same thing. And so from a law perspective, when people got the exact same story, there's the lawyer person is more likely to not believe that story because it's exactly the same. There's no nuances to it. There's no perspective. It's like everybody's seeing the exact same thing, when that's just not how things happen. You have to filter in your own perspective of things. And so it's interesting to look at these gospels where you do see that. You can see the same story, but one person's rendition of that story is, they say a whole bunch of things. And other ones, it's the same thing that they're saying. They might say a couple things. right? What is it that you emphasize in the thing? And so, you know, I kind of went off on a tangent, but you can't expect for all of these things to be exactly the same thing because they're different perspectives, right? So, John's perspective here in John chapter 8, we'll read, let's look at John chapter 8, and let's read all the way through. Let's read John 8, verse 12 through 20.
John chapter 8, verse 12. Therefore, Yeshua spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall be by no means, he who follows me shall by no means walk in darkness, but possess the light of life. The Pharisees therefore said to him, You bear witness about yourself. Your witness is not true. Yeshua answered and said to them, Even if I witness concerning myself, my witness is true. For I know where I come from, where I came from, and where I'm going. But you do not know from where I come or where I go. You judge according to the flesh. I judge no one. But even if I do judge, my judgment is true, because I am not alone in it, but I and the Father who sent me. And in your Torah also it has been written that the witness of two men is true. I am one who witnesses concerning myself, and the Father who sent me witnesses concerning me. Therefore they said to him, Where is your Father? Yeshua answered, You know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would have known my Father also. These words Yeshua spoke in the treasury, teaching in the set-apart place, and no one laid hands on him because his hour had not yet come.
Okay, very good. So, again, when we think about where we are in the narrative, Yeshua, who after the feast of Sukkot, after he was invited to come to Jerusalem from the countryside by his quote-unquote brothers, who were kind of egging him on to say, you know, come on down. You know, why you out here teaching in a secret? Come down to Jerusalem so that all the people could see you. And he say, no, I ain't doing that, man. But then he goes. And then he goes and he goes right into the temple to teach right in the middle, right where all the people was that wanted to do something to him and teach. And they're, you know, so much at all at the things that he got to say, you know, they might have questions and things that they bring up, but you know, they're still kind of really, I think, must be kind of in this proving stage of things, trying to get him to, trying to trip him up and all these things that they're doing. And so again, in this last verse here, it brings up the fact of where he is, right? Because he was, you know, this is where he was in the beginning of this chapter here in terms of the being in the set apart place teaching. And it just brings up the fact that no one laid hands on him. And the writer says because his hour had not come. But I'm sure that the people ain't standing around talking about, well, it ain't time for us to get him yet, so let's not get him. Right? This is kind of like an observation that John is having. He's sitting there in the middle of these people who if he ain't standing there, they want to lay hands on him, but they not. John could say because his hour didn't come yet, but they don't know what to do. And they probably right by doing that. You know, I feel like there's a certain amount of respect probably went towards Yeshua based on the fact that what he was out here doing.
It works.
He's out here doing these things that these people never even seen before. And so even if they don't know from where his power comes, if they want to up there and say that it's from Beelzebub, whatever they thinking, there's caution still used by them, obviously, right? And so we see that here again, because he's sitting down and he's talking to the people. He's saying whatever it is that he wants to say, and all they're doing is just listening, right? And so if we go back, let's go all the way back up to verse 12, where he says to them, he spoke to them again. It's saying again because, again, he was in the beginning of the chapter. He goes and he sits down and he teaches in the temple, and he's teaching. But he says here, I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. And so when we think about this as a statement, just to say I'm the light of the world, we could think about what this means from a standpoint of, like the spiritual significance of this. But the only thing that gives it its spiritual significance is just the literal understanding of it. Like if I can't understand what the actual light of the world is, how could I understand what somebody would mean if they're talking about it from a spiritual perspective if I don't understand what it actually is? Like if somebody was to say like you're the buck boost transformer of the world. Like if you don't know what a buck boost transformer is, like what I'm saying don't mean anything to you. Yeah. The transformer that actually could go, you look out on a light bulb, the transformer, it comes in at 1 voltage and it gets transformed going through the windings and makes it be another voltage. And so either it goes up, it boosts it, or it lowers it. Right? But you gotta know what that is in order to understand it. So the same thing is true. We think about Yeshua saying that I'm the light of the world. If you don't understand what the light of the world is, how do you even think about what it is that he's talking about? I don't know what the light of the world is outside of the sun. What is he talking about? The candles? Candles could light a little bit of a section in a place, right?
That's a big candle to light the world.
Right. I don't care how big your fire is, you can only light just a little area. Moshe, if you don't stop doing it. You gotta know what the symbol is to understand the symbolism. And so think about what the actual sun is, the sun in the sky, and what it does for the world and how it does it. We live in this place where, if a plant doesn't get sun, it shrivels up and it dies. We live in this part of the country where we have a finite number of sunny days. I don't know what that number is, but I feel like it's less than 100. We had a lot this year, but I was saying like there's a number that people say that the average amount of non overcast days that we experience in this part of the world. And as a result of that, we have a whole season of time when you look around and things are dead and it's cold.
We dying right now.
I know. You look out there right now, it's a mixture. Like maybe there's less sun on this side than there is on that because it's really greener on the other side, right? And over there it's kind of light. But that's the light and the sun and the energy that it creates for the living things. We can see how the things within this reality rely on the sun, on the ability to be able to see things. Like if we go around in the dark, you stumble, you trip over things, you walk a little more gingerly in the dark than you do in the light. I always think about in my dream home, I must have kind of like a kill switch as a security mechanism, because I like to think that I'm able to move around inside of my dwelling place in the dark because I know it so well. I mean, I got all these kids now because now, there could be like some Legos on the floor or something, some toys, something that don't belong there. But the actual, the regular path that exists, I know it and should be able to manipulate around it in the dark. As to where some intruder that comes in, he can't see nothing. He's going around kind of sneaking around where I can move more freely because I know what's there. But the idea is that in the dark, you're moving more, well, with wisdom anyway. In the dark, you're moving more gingerly because of the greater opportunity of stumbling. Because in the dark, there is a greater opportunity to stumble, fall, to not know where you're going, for things to be in your path and you don't know the difference, so you don't alter your behavior as a result of it. But all of these things are connected to, again, thinking about the light of the world, who Yeshua here is saying that he is. Let's look at a few scriptures over here when we think about the light of the world. Let's go over to Proverbs. Let's look at Proverbs 4:11 through 13.
Proverbs 4:11. I have taught you in the way of wisdom. I have led you in straight paths. When you walk, your steps shall not be hindered. And if you run, you shall not stumble. Become strong in discipline. Do not let go. Watch over her, for she is your life. Okay, very good. So we think about the way of wisdom. The way of wisdom, wisdom being the right application of knowledge. If I know where to go, I can move there intentionally and faster. We experienced this when we were coming, more so when we were going to the feast this year, because when you get off of that interstate 40, when you get off the interstate, you're going for several miles on these 2-lane highways, and there's a lot of curves, and it's like 55 miles an hour. I was barely driving 55 miles an hour because I didn't know where I was, and it was daytime.
I couldn't imagine driving 55 miles an hour on those roads at nighttime with no street lights. The only lights that there is maybe the houses got their porch light on or something, but the houses is like way over there. And so if I don't know where I'm going, I can't move about freely. But this verse over here talking about the idea of this way of wisdom and having these and going about on these right paths. You can go and take your steps and your steps won't be hindered because you know where you're stepping. You can run and you won't fall because you know how to maneuver as you're running. And so here, add to that Psalms 119 and 105. Psalms 119 and 105.
Psalms 119, 105. None, your word is a lamp. Is that? Mm-hmm. Okay. None, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path.
Thy word, the word of the Most High, his instructions, his Torah, his commands are a lamp unto your feet. It helps you to know where to put your foot at, where to walk, how to be, where to stand, where to go, where to turn. And it's a lamp unto your path. It helps you to be able to see obstacles that are in front of you, and so that you can navigate around those obstacles freely and ahead of time. But all this is talking about what happens when we talk about the light and being a light in the world. And this is what Yeshua is saying that he is. He's saying that he is this substance, this being that's able to shed light to the world and provide clear paths for those that are walking and causing them to be able to walk and not be hindered, and to run and not stumble. Go ahead.
That light is amazing, right? That light can keep you from so much danger. I mean, there's so many people out here that are making decisions in the dark. They don't have that light. They're not making their moves in life based upon that light. They're literally in the dark and they're coming into so many calamities, losing their life, going to prison. All of these different negative outcomes are coming because they're not making their life to, live by that light.
Yes. And this is what it is that Yeshua is talking about from a spiritual standpoint. But we got to start with just actual light, though. Actual light coming to the world, the cosmos, everything that needs light. The world. The world is a place that needs light, and then there's this light that comes that needs the light that is coming. The world is all of that, right? It's not just this room. It's not just the city that this room is in. It's not just the state that the city is in, right? It's all of it. It's the places.
Israel either.
It's not just Israel. It's actually all of the places where there isn't light. And he's saying, I'm the light of the world. I'm the provider of light in a dark place that needs light. That's what he's saying. Like, he's saying a thing right there. Like, there's a place that is the world, because he talks about the world as if it's some other place. I want to say that there's two places that we could be. We could be in the world or we could be in the kingdom. We could be in the kingdom, and that's the place that Yeshua is saying, repent, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He's talking to the people that's in the world so that they can come out of the world and go into the kingdom. He said, John said that Elohim so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son, that whosoever shall believe shall have everlasting life and shall not perish. But he also said that those that don't believe, they're already condemned. Those people are in the world. And Yeshua is calling out to those in the world to come out of the world and to come out of darkness and to come into the kingdom, into light. To come out of the place of walking around and don't know what you're doing, don't have any structure in your life, making all these bad decisions because you don't know what good decisions even are, hearing good decisions and not recognize that there are good decisions and not making those but making the bad ones, because you're in darkness and you're walking in darkness. You're in the world, you're without light, you're without a clear path. You're walking through this world and you're stumbling over things that are right in front of you because you can't see those things.
And the scripture says, some love darkness more than light because their deeds are evil.
Oh my goodness. Yes, because that's the thing that they're accustomed to. They're in darkness, they're accustomed to darkness, and they love normalcy. It's not even because it's good things. We talked about this last week. You love things that you're accustomed to, not because they're good, just because you're accustomed to those things. They're obviously not good. But you don't know the difference between what's good and what isn't. And so you love these things because that's your normal.
They find out though.
Yes, they do find out. Unfortunately, sometimes in a bad way. And so this is what Yeshua is saying. He said, I'm the light of the world. This place is dark and it's full of death. It's dead already. And I'm bringing life to this dark place. And he who follows me, he said, shall by no means walk in darkness. He's saying some heavy things over here, Yeshua is. They won't walk in darkness, but they'll possess the light of life. They'll possess it. What's that word? What's that word there in the Greek? To possess. Because he to me, when I look at that in the scriptures version, if I possess a thing, like that thing is mine, and you can't take it because it belongs to me. It belongs to me. I'm not borrowing it. You know, somebody didn't let me use it. Hey, can I get some of that real quick? Let me get some of that real quick. Let me get a little sip of that thing you got right there. Like, you might let me get a sip, but it's really yours. But he said, those people that follow me, they'll by no means walk in darkness. As a matter of fact, they'll possess the light of life. What that word say, man? Possess. What do it say?
Echo, using tense to hold, various applications, literally, figuratively, such as possession, ability, contiguity, relation, be able, hold, possess, accompany, begin to a man.
If I got a hold of the light of life, if I possess it, it's mine. I'm able to use it as I see fit. Right? I'm able to, it's interesting to eat, to enjoy. If I eat a thing, some of y'all people didn't really live life. It's not your fault because the world's different than it used to be. but you lived some life.
I live some
Now, as a kid, you know, if somebody got something that maybe they got some candy or something that's right there, and they sitting there eating it, maybe don't give you nothing. You did this with candy, but sometimes we did it with other things like paper or something. Yeah, we did goofy things when we was kids. But I'm saying candy because it's something that you would really eat. You know, somebody got some candy, they sitting there eating it, right? And they don't want to give you nothing, but you could take it. But not only take it, but hurry up and eat it. You hurry up and eat the thing. Once you eat it, it's a done deal. That's yours.
We used to have this thing where somebody be teasing you some candy, you slap it out your hand. Now neither one of us can enjoy it.
Yeah, but I can't eat it and you can't eat it. But I'm saying the idea of the eating though is it's over. Like if you're eating it, that thing is yours. Now if I take away your ability to eat it, I'm taking away your ability to possess that thing fully. I'm just interested that eat is part of that because once you eat it, it's done. It's in you.
It started getting broken down.
It's broken down. The things that was in it, not necessarily candy necessarily, but once that thing is in you, once you eat it, it's distributing itself into your body. You know, it's interesting. Yeshua talks about himself as the bread of life. Eat my body, drink my blood. Once you eat him, he in you. It's over. Like the idea of that possession. But he's saying you possess the light of life, which is him, because he said, I'm the light of the world. You're able to possess him when you follow him, and you'll by no means walk in darkness. It's interesting, listening to our brother Hosea this morning talking about happiness and just telling people just to be happy. And then some people don't want to be happy. Like, show me some. He done already showed where the Most High wants for you to be happy. And it don't even have nothing to do with the commandments. And it's interesting that what we look at in the Torah portion agrees with that. Moshe said to the people, oh, yes, you run. He's dealing with the people and talking to them in reference to the perfect potential of the people. Something that they are. Now, whether they be what they are is two different things. With what it is that Yeshua provides for us, he says, if you follow me, you shall by no means walk in darkness. There's no reason for you to have to walk in darkness when you follow Yeshua. Because he's the light. He shines light on every dark place. And so when we walk according to what it is that he provides for us, we possess the light of life. And so walking in darkness is something that we've decided to do. You decided to do it because he already provided a way for you to walk in light. Already, he's already given you that. You turned the flashlight off. You, through the instructions, you balled them up and threw them away. You reached up somehow. This is the part that don't make any sense for us as individuals. Because how easy is it for you to turn off the sun? Go. I'm waiting for you to answer. How easy is it for you to do that? You can't even do it. You can't turn off the sun. How you turn it off? Sometimes it'd be so hot I wish I could turn it off or turn it down a little bit. But you can't. When that thing is shining, there's nothing that you could do to stop it. And so why do we sit up here and act like the one who said he's the light of the world, he lit up the dark place? Why we sitting up here talking about, oh, I just don't feel good. I just don't know what's wrong with my life. I just don't have these things that, whatever. Like whatever it is that you're saying, the things that you're saying is darkness though. And he said, you'll by no means walk in darkness. And he ain't talking about your circumstances or your situations over here. Because he ain't gonna automatically just make all of the things in your life be perfect. But you still is able to walk in the light though. You still is able to not walk in darkness. He's saying some things over here, Yeshua is. The people, they came and like they don't talk about what it is that he's saying, like directly. They're just talking about the idea that he's making these claims, and there's no way that these claims could be verified. What you're saying. These things are unverifiable, what you're talking about. But I just want to talk about a little bit what it is that he's saying. Because this is a powerful statement over here. Because he said, I'm to you, if you believe in me, like the sun is to the world. Oh my goodness. I'm to you like what the sun that's in the sky is to the world, if you follow me. Like he's not saying I'm to you like this candle that you can hold and light with some fire. Well, you ain't lighting it with a thing. You doing some. You know, it's interesting that he didn't say I'm the candle that you can light for the world, because to start a fire, that's you. You did it, right? And you had to do some work to do that. You had to start the fire. Like you got to do some work to even start a fire, to even have a fire to walk around with. But he said, I'm to you like this thing that you don't got nothing to do with, that lights all of the world and nobody can hide from that light. I'm what that thing is to the world, I'm that to you, he said. That's pretty powerful. That's deep. Let's look at Malachi. Malachi 4:2.
Malachi 4, verse 2. But to you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go out and leap for joy like calves from the stall.
He said the Son of Righteousness, the sun, the light in the sky, the shemesh. What that word is in the Hebrew. The Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and you'll be like this calf that just be jumping. I'll never forget when we went to Yellowstone, and the big old bison, the bison walking around. These big old slow little things. They some powerful looking things, a bison is. They just walk around all, it look like it'll just, like to me a bison look even more menacing than like a bull did. A bison just walking around with that big old head and them little horns.
Big.
They big than a mug. And then they got like these big old manes like lions on them. and these little horns sticking out. They walking around, just walking around. But the calves, though, the calves, they running and jumping and stuff. Like, to be that big, they looking like gazelles the way they running and jumping around. But that's this right here. You'll go out and leap for joy like a calf from the stall. He can't wait to he's in the stall, he's all bound up, like, man, would they just let me out of here? But then when he get out, he's running around. Like these little ones here, they can't wait to just run around.
They do, as soon as we leave.
As soon as you just let them out. Yeah! But this here is talking about the ones, right, that fear the Most High, that fear my name. For them, the Son of Righteousness shall arise, and you're so happy that he has arisen, because he's coming with healing in his wings. And then once you get that, you leap for joy. And there ain't nothing that could stop you from doing it. But that's the same thing he said to them, though. He's saying that, and they know that he's talking about that. That's why they want to sit up there and act like, who's verifying for you? Who vouching for these words you saying? Because they understand what he's saying when he say, I'm the light of the world. If you follow me, you'll by no means walk in darkness. All right, let's keep on going here. We look down at back to chapter 8 and verse 13. Here, read again for us 13 and 14.
John chapter 8, verse 13. The Pharisees therefore said to him, you bear witness about yourself. Your witness is not true. Yeshua answered and said to them, even if I witness concerning myself, my witness is true. For I know where I came from and where I am going, but you do not know from where I come or where I go.
This is funny to me because Yeshua is interesting, because in a way the people is right. Nobody can't just come around and just be having something to say without something that bears witness to the thing that they saying. So in a way, they kind of right. But the only thing that makes them be right is kind of the thing that Yeshua is going back to them and saying is that you don't know where I come from. So that's the only reason why you sitting up there acting like you don't know that there's a witness, because there is a witness. The witness is the Torah. The witness is the prophets. Mm-hmm. The witness is the Most High. But since you don't know that those things the way you should know them, you can't see the witness. But the witness is there. If these people was able to actually think about these things that they supposedly already know, he said to them another time, if you read Moses, you read about me. But they obviously read Moses. They sit up here and read Moses all of the time.
Every Shabbat.
Every Shabbat and then some. Like all they do was sit around and read Moses. They was experts at reading Moses. They would sit up there and talk about a letter inside of a word, inside of a sentence in a paragraph.
Parts of the letter.
Yeah, parts of a dot or a tittle. They read it so much. So he's not even saying that they didn't read Moses, but what he is saying is that they didn't read it with understanding, because if they did, they would see him.
I was just thinking, does the sun have to bear witness of itself? Like the sun in the sky? I mean, it's just, it's obvious, like.
It's right there.
Right there, there's no need for it to. I mean, in fact, it's like, it's just thinking about Yeshua, he's walking around, he's doing all these miracles.
Mhm.
That should bear witness of
The
himself.
things that he does
Should bear witness.
bear witness of who he
Of who
is.
he is.
That's what he said. The things that I done, he said, if I, when the people challenged him about him healing people and them saying that it was from the power of Beelzebub, he said when he worked in the, I forget what the verse is, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but when he worked in the spirit, it bears witness of the kingdom, and it's the manifestation of the kingdom on earth whenever he is out here doing the work of the Most High. I totally butchered that, what that is. But his works is bearing witness of who he is. And so we can know that the sun is what it is, the sun in the sky, because it's literally up in the sky burning you. And we can see when something don't get sun, what happened. We could feel the heat from the sun, and we could know that if it's a cloudy day, you know you get some reprise from the thing that's over there. It's like it bears witness because of what it is. And so when you think about even just the idea of this whole thing of bearing witness of something, if somebody comes and tells me that this girl is pregnant, she's 7 months pregnant, but nobody else said anything, but I'm looking at her belly up. Right? That thing is bearing witness of the verbal witness. And so it's like she's bearing witness of herself. And so Yeshua is sitting up here raising people from the dead, causing lepers to not be lepers anymore, causing people who never seen nothing before to see or talk, or all of these things. Those things that he's doing bears witness of themselves. So that's why he's able to say that he said, even if I witness concerning myself, my witness is true. Even if what you saying is correct, that nobody didn't bear witness of me, my witness is true though. Even if what you saying is right, you still wrong, is what he said. Because you don't even know where I came from. And you don't know where I'm going. That's what he said. But they don't have an understanding of the things that they say that they are doing. What verse did you read to? 14?
Yeah.
Read 15 and 16 again for us.
John 15?
Yes.
All right, John chapter 8, verse 15. You judge according to the flesh. I judge no one. But even if I do judge, my judgment is true, because I am not alone in it, but I and the Father who sent me.
Yeshua has a knowledge of something that they don't have a knowledge of. And they're making their judgments according to what they could physically see and not in the spirit. He said, you judge according to the flesh, but I judge nobody. Right now, he don't. But he gonna judge. And the judgment that he has is not gonna be according to the flesh. It's gonna be according to the spirit. But he's talking about right now, he didn't come for that. I didn't come to judge. It's not what I came here to do. But you're sitting up here making these judgments, and you don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't come here to judge, but even if I did judge, my judgment is true. And he knows, Yeshua knows, where it is that he came from. Now, the unlearned people is able to look at Yeshua and understand that the things that he's doing, I don't want to say the unlearned, because Nicodemus looked and seen what Yeshua was doing and was convinced and said that no man does what you are doing except by Elohim. That's what he said. I'm saying when you rightly look at what Yeshua is doing, not trying to, because each one of these people, they're each one of their schools of thoughts that they have, because in the culture, they're looking for a Messiah figure.
To this day.
Even to right now, they're looking for a Messiah figure. So they will want for that Messiah to come from their place. So they're looking in the wrong place for the Messiah that's coming. So much so that when he's standing right in front of them, they can't see him. Because they're looking according to the flesh. And so he's saying that the Father sent me. If you was truly and honestly looking at things from a bright perspective, you would know that.
From a spiritual perspective.
From a spiritual perspective, from the only perspective. And then so when he gets down to 17 and 18, here, read again verse 17 and 18.
And in your Torah also it has been written that the witness of two men is true. I am one who witnesses concerning myself, and the Father who sent me witnesses concerning me.
Now, again, when he says that from a carnal perspective, he's only talking about one guy, him. The Most High was, he's the Most High. But he mentions in the Torah. If we look in the Torah bears witness of him. The Torah bears witness of him. The prophets bear witness of him and the things that he's doing. And so when you really look and understand what it is that Yeshua is doing and has done up until this point, you understand that there are more witnesses to his situation when he talks about saying that he is, he witnesses of himself. He's saying that, but at the same time, the Torah is witnessing of him. Mm-hmm. At the same time, the prophets is witnessing of him. At the same time, the writings is witnessing of him. His works is witnessing of him. And so because they have these preconceived notions, it's causing them to remain in darkness. And they can't see. They become so accustomed to their darkness that light is right in front of them and they think it's still dark. Go ahead.
I just think about people is convinced of something and then you just tell them that that's not the thing and then they just repeat the same thing over. It's like it doesn't even get through.
Yeah. Yes, because there's a veil. They're in a veil of darkness.
Right.
Strong delusion.
They're in a strong delusion, right? And so it's interesting when Yeshua talks about himself and refers himself to something that's like unto the Son. But again, when we think about what it is that the Son provides, that's what we need to be thinking about Yeshua and what he provides. And so when we think about the idea of Yeshua and the fact that he, in his role of being the one that illuminates, that empowers, that brings revelation and insight and all of these things, if he's the one that's doing that and you the one having to believe in who he is, if you're not believing that, then you got no insight, you got no empowerment, you got no vision. You're going along and and these things are getting in your way and you can't get past. Like if you're walking in the darkness and there's a wall right in front of you, but the door is just over here a little bit. Yeshua is the door, but you're in darkness, so you can't see the door. So you keep bumping into the wall. These people are bumping into this proverbial wall. Yeshua's saying, well, the door's right over here, but they can't get to the door because they're like, no, the door ain't over there. That's what's happening, right? Because the ability to see rests with Yeshua. And until they get to the place where it's saying, oh, the door's over here? Okay. Until they do that, they're going to always bump into the wall. And so when we think about it in that light, understand, pun intended, when we think about it in that light and understanding that Yeshua is the light, it's impossible to walk in an unimpeded path if, the obstacles are there. We're going to bump into obstacles until we understand that he is the light and walk according to that light. We're going to forever be in darkness until we acknowledge the light. And it's so interesting, which makes it sound crazy even when you think about the way that Yeshua is presenting himself. It's almost like, in fact, it's exactly like me standing in the middle of daytime when the sun's at its peak saying it's so dark out here. It's so dark I can't even see. Meanwhile, it's 12 o'clock in the daytime. But that's what we see with these people. Yeshua, any person in their right mind is able to look at what he does and say, that man is sent from Elohim. Anybody who stands out and feels the heat of the sun can say, man, the sun is in the sky and is warming me right now. And it takes some kind of delusion to stand outside in the middle of the daytime and say it's cold when it's really hot. But that's what Yeshua is, that's the picture, the imagery that he's presenting. I'm the light of the world. If you walk in me, you'll walk in the light of life. But if you don't walk in me, you'll be in darkness. These people are in darkness. So much so that they can't even accept what it is that they're actually seeing with their own two eyes. They're witnessing all of the magnificent things that he's doing. And the only time he even mentions these things about him being from his father and all of these things is when he's challenged. He's not going around with all of that. He's going around changing these people's lives. Then they challenge him, then he just got to say, well, I'm from the Father. But that's not his deal. He's not doing, he ain't leading with that. I mean, if you press him, he'll tell you, I'm from the Father. But what he's about is helping for these people to understand life and what it is.
That's right.
Go ahead.
He could have came.
Go ahead.
He could have came with all pompous. You know what I mean? He could have came like, what? You flee. I will pluck you off of the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But he came in all humility, like, look, the light of the world. These people are asking, disrespecting the light of the world.
Crazy.
Telling him you're a liar. It's crazy.
That's right. I mean, I'm so reminded of this morning with the president of your union coming to the door. I didn't know who he was. He didn't introduce himself.
Yeah.
And then I get a text message, and Maury's like, I hope you did. Like, what did you say? I can't remember.
Yeah.
He didn't leave with who he was.
Yeah, he did. But when he left, he definitely said, well, tell him that the president of the union came.
I know who he was. I said, why did he leave with who he was?
He did come like a humble servant. He just came like a regular person. Meanwhile, he's kind of the top dog of the union. He's going around trying to, political things. They're going door to door. But the thing is the same, right? He's not. He didn't come like you usually see him in a suit and tie and everything with his couple $100 shoes on and all of this, and you know, he just came as a humble, regular guy, you know, with his message. But the same thing is true with Yeshua. Like he really could have came like that. But he came as a humble servant. And for, you know, people without understanding, when they're looking for somebody to come and take over the world, well, he is taking over the world, but just in another way. And so again, it all gets back to the idea of this thing that's in plain sight, that's making himself manifest and known. The power is being exhibited by him, and they're looking at this thing that's totally obvious, and they're rejecting it.
Oh, yeah.
And so for us, you know, we have to be able to understand that, you know, Yeshua, he came and he was who he said that he was, and he placed us in a position of life and light. And when we receive that light and that life, there is a way that we, you know, just by rights should be. That's different from the world and darkness, because we have hope in Messiah. I want to end with Colossians. Let's look over at Colossians. We're going to end with Colossians 1. Look at Colossians 1, 12 through 14.
Colossians 1 verse 12. Giving thanks to the Father, for who has made us fit to share in the inheritance of the set apart ones in the light, who has delivered us from the authority of darkness and transformed us into the reign of the Son of his love, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins.
Okay, very good. So it's interesting when we think about our reality, our right now, because of what it is that Messiah has done for us. The apostle over here is saying he made us fit. He did something already that puts us in the position of sharing in an inheritance. And it's interesting that it's even portrayed in that way, because you think about inheritance, that's what somebody gets in a family, when you're born into a family. Like if somebody's like the neighbor, there's no way that they could partake in the inheritance of the father. Because unless he's he's saying he's going to give his inheritance to charity or something like that. But just off what's normal, inheritance goes to the children. But when the apostles over here talking about the idea of something that already happened, he made us fit to share in an inheritance. Already he did it. Already he has delivered us from the authority of darkness. That darkness has an authority. There is a prince of this world who has authority in this world, and he said, you have already been delivered from the authority of darkness and transferred into the kingdom of the Son of his love. That happened already. And so that's no different from what Yeshua said when he said, I'm the light of the world. And those that follow me, what do it say? It said they shall by no means walk in darkness. Why? Because darkness don't have no authority over you. Where the way it used to. Darkness has an inherent authority over you because you can't see. You don't have the ability to know what's going on around you properly. It has an inherent authority over you. It rules your movements. Darkness does. But if you have been delivered from that authority and transferred into this kingdom of the Son, now you possess something that causes you to be able to walk in a newness of life, which is this possession of the light of life. And so there is a place that we exist in as a result of what it is that Messiah has done for us, that's like unto Moses and the way that he spoke to the children of Israel as they got ready to walk into the kingdom, the promised land, where he calls them, he says to them, "Oh, Yeshurun, oh, upright ones, oh, ones that walk in uprightness perfectly. Oh, you who have been delivered from the authority of darkness already. There's no reason for you to remain and walk in darkness because you possess life and light. There's no reason for you to walk outside in the sunshine and feel the heat of the sun and say it's dark, it's nighttime. No, it isn't. It's daytime, obviously. So it's interesting the usage of words that we see with Yeshua here when he talks about the idea of being the light of the world and what that means for us. And, you know, it's something that we have to be able to remember at every moment. When these dark things, try to come into our remembrance and try to get us to walk in these dark things, and think about how delusional that is to believe that these things have power over us. Mm-hmm. When Yeshua said, no, they do not have power over you. You will by no means walk in darkness if you follow me. So I just want to say that we need to be out here following Yeshua. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts, questions, or comments?
I wanted to say, don't be that person. Don't be that man. Don't be that woman out here walking in darkness. I mean, there ain't nothing in darkness but death, hate, pain, suffering, homelessness, begging. There's nothing in darkness that is going to satisfy you. You're literally going to have a whole life full of hurt. And I'm talking from experience. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've experienced it. Don't be that person. Be that person that is in the light of Yeshua. Because over here, we having great times over here. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing but life over here. Ain't nothing but love over here. And we ain't begging for bread over here. You know what I'm saying? We ain't homeless over here. We helping each other over here. We praying for each other over here. We everything is everything you want over here in the light. And I'm speaking from experience on that side as well. So don't be that person. You don't have to be that person walking in darkness. Walk in the light of Yeshua. I'm telling you, I on everything, it's better on this side.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that in the light, there's things over here in the light. But you can see the things though.
Right.
That's right.
You can see the things. It's not like there's not issues and problems and circumstances and situations. The situations is right over there. But you can see those things and navigate through those things in the light. In the darkness, you get enveloped by those things because you can't even see them.
Right.
But in the light, we know that the Master Yeshua is with us and he can walk with us. Maybe you can't get around the thing. Maybe you got to go through it.
Right.
But he's able to be there with us when we go through it to strengthen us and help us through the thing. And so it's not even about, not having issues, but it's about understanding that those issues is just part of the journey, and the Most High is able to be with us through it.
I ain't gonna lie. Most of my issues was from going from darkness to light. So it's like my issues were over here in the dark. And then moving into the light, it was like, just, being peeled. A peel at a time was being peeled off.
Yeah.
As I was going to the light, I got less and less issues.
Purified.
Yes, that's what it is. The thing that the Most High wants for us to be able to do is, when we walk according to His will and His ways, it teaches us how to walk and to navigate through this life and this world. And so we have to understand that the Torah in us is just us being able to be led by the Spirit inside of us, and it is the compass that leads us through life, and it helps us to avoid pitfalls and dangers and things that are in the way to trying to prevent us from getting to the place that we're going. We have this spiritual GPS that leads us and tells us, hey, there's an accident up here. You might want to make this detour over here. All right, but we have to understand who Yeshua is and accept the fact that He is the light of the world, and He changes us and transforms us to cause us to be lights in this world. To once we came over into this kingdom, to also bring the world into the kingdom, transforming the world to be part of this kingdom. Okay, did you have something?
No, I was saying something because people said, no, I love that.
All right.
And I think that's why, sometimes people, like even when they fellowship with us, like for feast days and stuff, they be like, oh, I had such a good time with y'all. And I don't know, sometimes people in the Torah groups, they kind of lack that, just having a good time, enjoying life.
Yes. Being like that calf is just running around jumping.
Yeah.
The cat, just enjoying time. We've had people come through and they talk about you and they say, you're not angry enough. You know what I mean? they said that about them. They've been like, aren't you angry? Aren't you upset about all this stuff happening? Why don't you talk about the things that the people are doing to us and all of that? And it's like, it's funny. People want you to be angry and upset, not happy.
That's that residue of darkness still.
Residue of darkness.
Mm-hmm. It might be actual darkness, not even residue, depending on who you talk about. Okay. All right. That being said, we want to say, for now, Shabbat Shalom. Y'all willing, we'll be back on. You know what? We won't be back on next Shabbat because we're going away to fellowship with another group. So the following Shabbat we'll be back. Y'all willing. But until then, we'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Baby.